Hello. So, thought I'd come on and do a quick talk about Power Always Reveals. Okay? How does Games Workshop feel about you? So, I'm actually giving a few lessons right now on my Patreon and things like that about coaching job interviews, coaching people through things like that, and also, obviously, the writing process and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of the people I've actually given sessions to who have gone on to find employment, which is really great, is about Games Workshop and similar companies they're in, and what they're going to expect from you and things like that. One thing that is cropping up now and again is customers themselves coming to me and saying, "Hey, my Games Workshop is like treating me this way. Um, you know, we're treated like cattle. We're not wanted in there." And why is that? Why do people have a go at us all the time? Why do we need to go to a normal hobby store? Why can't we go to Games Workshop? And I figured I'd make a video telling you why, in uncertain terms, because I was told. So, the words "power always reveals" it's another take on the phrase "absolute power corrupts absolutely," and it's one I prefer. I prefer "power always reveals" because it always reveals. As soon as you put someone in power, you always reveal their true nature. Yeah, and that happens a lot these days with, yeah, the words feminazi and all that. I find it very, very interesting that there are a hell of a lot of people who have been, quote unquote, suppressed and held back for years, and the first thing they want to do when they're given the power is to, quote unquote, suppress other people. So it's very, very interesting the way that works out. And I think if you think a lot of Games Workshop, then great, that's fine. If you think they're a great company, that's also great, that's fine. I think they're making great strides towards the customer experience. I really do. I think they're making a really good effort. There are enough good people now at Games Workshop that they'll be doing enough good things in things that are coming out, and they're respecting their fan base a lot more. What I would say is that there are two different types of people who work for that company. The first type are people who look towards people who buy Games Workshop products as fans, and I'm one of those people. I think you're a fan. I think you're someone who follows their stuff. No, it used to be our stuff. Who follows their stuff because you've got a passion for it, and you're really, without you are the lifeblood of everything, and that's what you should be. You're a fan. We want to see you all the time. We want to see you in the stores. We want to talk to you. We want to go over your hobby, what you're doing with it at the moment, what's working for you, what isn't working for you. That's the kind of person I am with it. So I and a few other people, the manager of Hemel Hempstead as well. If you're in Hemel Hempstead, please go to that store because he's awesome. He's a friend of mine. So there are lots of people at Games Workshop who look at you as fans, as people who are passionate about the product and they want you to come into their store. There's a whole other section of people at Games Workshop who look at you as customers. Those are two completely separate things. A customer is somebody you want them to come into your store and you want them to buy something and get the fuck out straight away. Okay? I've heard a lot of stories about people being dry humped as soon as they get into a store to buy something. That is a store where people look at you as a customer, not a fan. Okay? Let's move on. Power always reveals. How does Games Workshop feel about you? Alright. So this happened to me. I was at a meeting in Nottingham. This was at a industry meeting, so this is where everyone gets together in a big group, training meeting, and we went from Nottingham to Leeds. I don't know why we went to Leeds, because Leeds is a terrible place for a seminar, but we went to Leeds for some training. And this is a man who's very high up in Games Workshop. And when I say high up, he is one step below the CEO. He is the head of retail. And the head of retail is essentially everything you see in a Games Workshop store. He's in charge of that. Okay, he's in charge of retail in the UK. So huge person in the actual company. So when I brought up the fact I was conflicted about what I'd been told by Games Workshop and what I actually believed, I believed that, you know, normal hobbyists could be a really good influence in the store, and that people who coming in and not necessarily buying something every single time could still be a good influence in the store. I received a lot of weird looks for this and a lot of grumbles, to which the head of retail looked me straight in the eye and said, "You get them out of your store, mate. They will strangle it and demand all of your time. They don't grow the hobby." Now, it's easy to look at that with hate, but I'm not here to do that. What does it mean? What did he mean by that? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how they look at you. Games Workshop look at you as a burden. Okay? People who come into the store and take up space without adding anything. That's the stereotype. The stereotype is a neckbeard who comes in with his pants halfway round his arse, smells terrible, and generally swears and talks about the hobby and uses a lot of jargon, like min-maxing and things like that. And he doesn't actually add any. He never buys anything in the store, yeah, because he gets most of his models from eBay or a third-party retailer that has a discount. Now, whilst there is a hypocrisy here, Games Workshop, they give people stuff to sell at a discount, and that is their choice to go and sell stuff at a discount. It is Games Workshop's choice to go to a third-party retailer on the high street and say, "Hey, do you want to stock Games Workshop stuff? Cool, have a 20% discount." That's their choice, okay? So they can't now turn around and have a go at you for taking up that option when their own stores don't have that discount, which is ridiculous how they hamstring themselves in the first place. But hey, but that's how you're looked at. You know, you're not somebody who adds anything to the store, okay? Games Workshop is a very results-driven business, and so as a manager there, you're going to be, you know, judged on your numbers, and that's why a lot of managers tend to look at you as customers, not as hobbyists, okay? Not as fans. They will look at you as customers because they want you to come in and buy as much as you can, as often as you can, and then leave, because they don't have the time to take you through doing anything else, because they're too busy doing introductions to everybody, because if they do not sell introduction sets, they will get in trouble. You could sell 15 grand's worth of stuff in a small store, yeah? Blow every single target you've ever been set. But if you're below target on your introduction things that you've sold, you will get a bollocking. Okay? So, they think you're the poison. They think you can be uncooperative. Personal hygiene was always an issue in my store, okay? Language was also a problem, as well as loud people taking up valuable store space. This one I agree with them on. People can be uncooperative, people can be annoying. You have to be very, very careful, because a lot of people, some people who play in the hobby have certain things wrong with them. Okay, that's just how it is. Whether you're autistic, whether you've got behavioural problems, whether you've got learning disabilities, whether you've got anything wrong with you, I was always very careful to be careful around those people to make sure they got the support that they needed, so that they didn't act out in the store. But some people are just arseholes. So if you can, you know, some people can be uncooperative. They can have bad personal hygiene. They can swear a lot because they think it's cool, and they're trying to be, you know, Billy Big Bollocks in the store. And loud people. What I do agree with Games Workshop is I don't want parents coming into the store and seeing people act like that, because they will think, oh my god, little Timmy in 5 years' time is going to end up with stinking of BO, overweight, with a beard around the flabby jowl part of his face, with his pants halfway around his arse. I don't want that. I'll buy him a PS4 instead. That's what I didn't want, okay? But I was constructive around that, and if somebody had a personal hygiene problem, I'd come straight out with them and say it. Not in front of anybody, I'd pull them aside. I'd say, can I just have a word? And then I'll say to them, look, you know, when I got in this morning, I was stinking because I'd forgotten to shower today. Right? I use this, and it's like, I'll say, I'll use my deodorant and put it on, you know, and I'll put it on in front of him. I'll be like, shh, there you go. Yeah, I'm using this. Do you want to use it, man? Because you're smelling just as funky as me, as I was this morning. And do you know what? 9 times out of 10, they'll go, oh yeah, man, yeah, cheers, thanks. And they'll take it off you and they'll do it. And they'll say, do you know, I even had one guy who didn't have a sense of smell. he literally didn't have a sense of smell, and he was mortified and went, "Mate, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get a shower and I'll be right back." And I was like, "All right, mate, no worries, no worries." So he went out. He came back, and do you know what? I gave him a free paintbrush. Shouldn't have done that, but I known lost a paintbrush, a small one. Just it only cost like £5, £6, and gave it to him. So thanks for doing that, mate. Thanks for being an adult about it. Here you go. That's for you. Didn't do that very often at all. But like, if you're going to do that for me, no problem. What a guy, a really nice guy. So, and obviously we kept that between us, and things went on, and everything was fine. So, they are right in certain ways. People can be very obstinate. People can be just arseholes, and every single geek subculture has them, and you have to be very, very careful. The way that they deal with it, I don't agree with, but it's still, they still have a point. Do Games Workshop approach all of this in the right way? In a word, no. No, they don't. As I've said before, they are very combative. There was a manager who shall go unnamed, who started around about the same time as me. And when I went to my first retail workshop, I was paired with 3 other new managers, one of whom was this guy. And the other 2 managers who were there, who I was talking to, we were all very, pro gamer. We were all very pro hobbyist. We were like, yeah, that's really cool. And all of our stores were doing pretty well. They weren't blowing out any numbers, they were just doing pretty well. And then this manager proceeded to brag about the fact that he only does 500-point games in his stores. He only lets hobbyists come in on a Thursday night, and even then only for 2 hours. And he runs so many introductions, and it's going really, really, really well. He's lost loads of money, but hey, at least he got rid of all of the cancer, as he put it, in his store. My jaw dropped at this, and I nearly dropped my pint, which is a big, big faux pas for a northerner, as you would go. I very nearly dropped my beer. And as I walked away, I took a Scottish friend that I'd seen, I pulled him to one side, and I was like, "What did you make of that?" And he was like, "I don't know what to make of it, mate. I really don't know. I really don't know." So, unfortunately, that attitude was the prevailing attitude throughout all of retail. Everyone that I spoke to had a similar approach. And the guys who... And do you know what? The tragic thing is, it works. It does work. Those people do make more money. They make more money for their store. Because they are so single-minded in that in killing the hobby, because they are killing the hobby, they are making short-term gains that will get them more money out of being Games Workshop manager, but they're killing the hobby. And they're killing the hobby because these kids who come in and do an introduction and then have nowhere to play will literally just, just go away. They will literally just go away, and you will never see them again. You will never get repeat business. The hobby shrinks as a result, and no one comes into the hobby, and you're done. It's not good. It's not good. Here's the flip side of that. Here's what I think, and here's what a lot of other Games Workshop managers think as well. You are the heart of the hobby. Okay? The vast majority of hobbyists who are given respect supercharge your store with good vibes, fun, and laughter. Even those who misbehave just need one talking to, away from everyone else, and if you cultivate your group of hobbyists, and they know the rules, they effectively self-police. I had several people in my store that I trusted implicitly. Yeah? And I was able to rely on them to have a word with somebody as soon as things got a little bit out of hand, if a game wasn't going somebody's way and they acted out, or if, language wasn't quite what we wanted in the store, or people's behaviour wasn't quite as it should be, they were able to take people aside and just say, "Hey, this is how it is," and blah blah blah. And it worked out that way. You treat people like adults, they act like adults. Okay? If you treat geeks, nerds, as children, they will most likely act like children. That's just how it is. But remember, and this is for the managers out there, people who want to be managers, you're a person, not a Games Workshop android. A lot of the very successful managers at Games Workshop are Games Workshop androids. They will talk about the company, you know, and they will have no qualms about just getting rid of you from their store if you're not putting in the money. They just won't. They'll get rid of you. If you can't succeed in a job by being yourself, then just leave. Your personality and manner should bring in new customers. Okay? If you get a job at Games Workshop, be open, be honest, be nice with people. Don't try and sell them everything as they come into the store. If introduction things aren't for them, aren't what's best for them, don't sell them. Don't sell it to them. That trust is more sacrosanct than any target Games Workshop can set you. Because if they fire you, just get another job, dude. Just get another job. It's not the be all and end all. Enjoy it or leave. That's my advice. So in conclusion, Games Workshop do not believe you're an advantage to the store. They don't. If you're a hobbyist and you're not an introduction person and you're a repeat customer who's coming in to get a few things every now and again, you're not an advantage. They can do without you. They don't care. Okay? If you come in buying a pot of paint, a White Dwarf or whatever, doesn't care. They don't care. Go away. They don't care. Alright? If you're a whale who comes in and buys quite a lot all the time because you've got quite a bit of money, oh, I've seen this before. They will love you. They will know your name. They will know your wife's name. They will know your cat's middle name. They will know everything about you because they cannot get enough of you if you're one of those people or families. Trust me. Under the right circumstances, however, you are not just an advantage, you are a vital part of the store experience. When I have kids coming into the store, I want them to look over and go, hey, they're all having fun. I want their parents to go, hey, they're all having fun. And they're not dressed like demons. And they don't smell. They're actually really cool people. And hey, they're inviting me to go over there and learn about the game. That's awesome. That's great. That's what you should. I was told explicitly that I was not allowed to let anyone else teach anyone else how to do the hobby. You either did an introduction in the store or you weren't taught in the store. That's bullshit to me. Because sometimes I was too busy. Sometimes there were too many things going on in the store. But if I saw one of my customers teaching somebody else how to play the game, I was expected to go over there and stop it. I never did, but I was expected to. Okay? These two things are really important. I can't stress these last two things, how important they are. When you have a good manager who allows you to play in the store and is generally a decent person, treasure them. If you take the piss, Games Workshop will hire someone who toes the company line. This means 500-point games, no Forge World models, and even limits on who can come into the store and when. The reason why there's no Forge World models, by the way, is because they don't sell it in Games Workshop. And I kind of understand why they don't do Forge World models in store. I would allow... I got around that by allowing one Forge World model as long as it wasn't super heavy. Okay, so you can have one Forge World model that was completely Forge World, and I would allow Forge World upgrades. So like you know shoulder pads, or you use the body from this marine to do something else. That's also fine. And I was able to get around that because once things are painted up, you can't really tell what's been used. So I was able to like, and we were able to get Forge World into the store that way. But that's why they don't want you selling. They don't want you doing it in store, because somebody will come in and go, "Oh, that's cool. Can I buy it here?" And you've got to go, "No, go to Nottingham." And no one wants to do that. Number 4, support good managers by buying in their store. Time is money. That's what Games Workshop say. If I have 20 people in my store and none of them buy anything, what are they there for? That's what Games Workshop say. And whether you like or not, the manager that you like will be judged and fired on that principle. Time is money. Vote with your wallet. Even if it's just a White Dwarf or a pot of paint, I had tons of customers who would keep me in the black every single month because they would come in and they'd get that one set of Dire Avengers. They'd get the rest of their army online or at the client, the third party client up the road because they had a 20% discount. But they would come in and get one box from my store just as a little kickback, a little thank you for using the store as a place to come and do their hobby. It's a two-way street. Let's not take the piss. If a manager's doing really well for you and you've got £100 to spend, why not kick them 20? Yeah, just kick them 20. Go and get a good discount elsewhere, but at least kick them something. So that's it. Hopefully you found that informative, and that was just in response to a lot of people who are wanting to know what Games Workshop think about them, why certain things are the way that they are. and what you can actually do to change it. Again, the only thing is to either never go into a Games Workshop again and buy it all online, which is what I decided to do in the end, because there are no really good stores around me. Or, if you do find a good store, a good manager, who's worth your support them with your money. Support those people, take money away from people who don't deserve it. Capitalism. That's what it is, folks. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll speak to you next time.